So, for the past week or so, we've been hearing a lot about the deficits that are to come, food prices rising with inflation, the rampant crime that's across our country, and with that crime, we've been hearing a lot about this gun buyback program. Especially since the leaked audio from Gary Otasangri, the minister responsible for that file, has basically come out saying the program's not going to work. He doesn't believe in it, and it's just a waste of money. Now, there's been a lot of calls for his resignation, a lot of people saying that Carney should just get rid of him, he's incompetent. And it's not just because of this, it's also a few months ago, there was the Tamil Tiger stuff from his past that was uncovered by the mainstream media. And Carney continues to defend this guy. But it's getting to a point where now even the media is questioning all the liberals, saying, how do you expect this program to work when even the minister who's responsible for it says that it's a waste, that it's not going to work? And that's what we're going to be checking out today. So without further ado, let's dive into the news. Now, since that leaked audio has been released, there's been a lot of panel shows from CTV to CBC and even CPAC discussing whether Gary's going to be sticking around. And that's because I believe Carney's going to be doing another cabinet shuffle sometime soon. We know Freeland's going to be stepping down and moving into another role. There's a few other ministers that they've already announced also doing the same. So I don't think Gary's going to be making it. But besides that, this program itself seems like it shouldn't make it. It's been 4 years in the making. They've wasted a whole bunch of money on it. And now we have audio from the minister responsible for the file talking about it's not going to work, it's a waste of money, etc., etc. But the other day, Gary was on having a press conference, and he was questioned about it because they say that this is going to be voluntary, but take a listen to what he says here.
How is this? You say that the program is voluntary, but after the amnesty ends, the people are not in compliance with the law. So how is this truly voluntary?
So Canadians starting in Cape Breton today will be able to enroll in the program, be able to get compensated if they were to turn their firearm in, or they will be able to get compensation if they deactivate and confirm that it's deactivated with a certificate. So it is strictly voluntary. Nobody is being forced to undertake the buyback program. Well, the expectation is that they will comply, and the order in council, as you know, is being extended from this October to October of 2026. So there is a one-year window. Our expectations is that law-abiding citizens will abide by the law, and beyond that, the police of jurisdiction is tasked to, as you know, implement the criminal code.
Now, after hearing Gary talking about this amnesty period of a few months to a year to voluntarily hand over your gun, aka you need to comply, as he mentioned there, it started to get me thinking about what's really going on, because it's not the legal gun owners that are causing the problem, it's illegal guns that are entering our country through the US that is causing all this crime, especially with handguns. But this started getting me thinking about what's happening in Australia, because Australia kind of implemented the same thing earlier this month, which was announced a few months ago, but it wasn't a gun buyback program. It's essentially a machete buyback program where you can voluntarily hand over your machete and other large blades. But the way they frame it is that nobody should be walking around with a kitchen knife, just like they're trying to say that nobody should be running around with these assault-style weapons. Take a listen to this.
The Victorian government will soon roll out machete drop boxes in the latest measure to tackle the state's surging knife crime. Starting in September, people will have the opportunity to dispose of the weapons before a harsh crackdown goes into effect. Jack Perry has more.
In the wake of surging knife crime across Victoria, the state government and police are introducing machete drop boxes in the hope of getting edged weapons off the streets. Starting from September 1, disposal bins will be installed at 45 police stations across Victoria for people to drop off their edged weapons as part of a 2-month amnesty period.
An opportunity for all Victorians to play their part in removing machetes from our streets.
Those who don't comply could face up to 2 years in prison or get slapped with a fine of more than $47,000. The heavy-duty steel boxes are roughly 900mm by 1200mm in size, with a 17mm concrete base to ensure they are secure and have feet to allow for safe removal.
If you're going to carry those things, it's against the law unless you've got a lawful purpose. There's no reason to be carrying a kitchen knife around the city.
Some have praised the decision, but others say it's too little too late.
Start getting it in penalties and start locking the recidivist youth criminal up, and that's what makes the community safe, not handing in a machete by the honest person.
Last year, Victoria Police seized more than 14,000 edged weapons off the streets. This year, police say it's on track to surpass that amount.
The penalties are serious and significant, but so too is the injury and damage that knife crime is doing to too many families.
Now, I'm sorry, but there was no kitchen knife in any of the video that they showed there of people wielding machetes and attacking individuals. Every knife that was laid there on the table was not a kitchen knife. Those were large blades to machete style blades. And this is what the liberals here are doing the same thing, where they're saying assault style weapons, and they're just balling up a whole bunch of guns under the same label. They talked about how almost 14,000 knives were confiscated there. Well, on a CPAC panel, we have this liberal loony talking about how 12,000 guns have been taken off the streets when they were never even on the street to begin with.
Can the minister actually stay in the office, considering what a big stumble this is on such an important file?
Well, the Prime Minister has said he's there, so he's there. And it is an important file. It's a compensation program to get assault-style weapons off the streets. And so far, they've managed to get 12,000 of them off the streets. And these are military-grade weapons that shouldn't be in neighborhoods, shouldn't be in people's homes, shouldn't be in their gun boxes in their houses. And that's the point. And it's about the safety of Canadians. So,
but the minister has this big stumble because of this recording, though.
Well,
I mean, the program aside, it is at the end of the day a minister who's caught on tape expressing doubt in the worthiness of a program.
I think, as the minister said, he was having a private conversation with a tenant on the front step. And the tenant is someone, I guess, who has a locker full of guns as well, locked up guns in their house. So he got trapped in a conversation that he didn't think. And I think it was his inside voice, maybe not his outside voice. But the bottom line is the program's working. It's the right thing to do. Assault-style weapons shouldn't be on the streets. And the government's going to continue with the program.
Okay.
Now, what you just witnessed was liberal gaslighting and fear-mongering 101 because of the words that they are choosing to use. And Carney did this during the election, where he kept talking about Trump's trying to own us, he wants to break us, the 51st state rhetoric, which terrified everybody who voted liberal. And now they're doing the same with this gun buyback program, saying assault-style weapons. She mentioned military-grade weapons. These individuals are law-abiding citizens. They're not militias. They have purchased these guns legally. They use them typically for hunting or maybe even going to the shooting range. But they are just constantly putting this scare tactic out saying assault-style weapons are on our streets, which is not the case when you're seeing what is actually happening, being it majority handgun crimes. And the fact that she's defending Gary, saying, he was caught off guard by some lunatic who must have a locker full of guns, and that's why he's so concerned about this, when we don't even know if that's the actual case. But she's saying, he was using his indoor voice and not his outdoor voice because he got trapped. Well, if he was saying what he actually felt like inside, then this means the program's not supposed to be working, or it's not going to work. And this is what the conservative panelists said, basically, on the programs, that Gary was being truthful.
But I think what we've seen here is the minister interacted with someone who thinks the same thing he does about the liberal gun buyback program, and that it's not going to be effective, especially when we face the reality that the majority of illegal guns come into Canada from the U.S. And I think that there's some skepticism as to whether the minister can address the fact that, what he said in private and now he's being held accountable for publicly is the fact that this won't really address crime and public safety. So now that we're seeing that, I think the minister's time in this particular role, maybe he won't be gone today, maybe not tomorrow, but I think in the next shuffle we'll probably see him somewhere else.
Yeah. Now, unfortunately, it didn't just end there, because that panel was from 5 days ago, and yesterday they had the combating crime secretary Ruby Sahota on CPAC, again defending this program, even when she was questioned about Gary's comments and what he said. And she just kept going on and on again about assault-style weapons and how people just don't need to own these guns anymore. We've deemed them illegal, so they just need to get rid of them. Once we say that it's illegal, they shouldn't have any right to own them anymore. Take a listen.
So a couple of things to talk about. And I do want to begin with this gun buyback program because, you know, I was just speaking with the conservative shadow critic for public safety. And, you know, I appreciate the pilot has gone ahead. But when you listen to Frank Caputo, he says essentially that recording of the public safety minister, you know, is an admission that this program will not work. What do you say to that?
Well, what I want to actually remind you and Canadians really is that the guns that are being bought back have already been banned. Those guns are now prohibited guns in Canada through a series of 3 different lists that came out over the last 5 years. And so I think it's only fair, especially, you know, to the responsible gun owners, which most are, that are holding these guns, that have stored them for all these years because they know they're prohibited weapons now. And it's time to compensate them. It's time to be able to give them, you know, fair compensation for the firearms they've been holding, and it's a way to get these assault-style firearms out of our communities, Michael. So I think it's an important step because it's a step we have to take. We have a whole bunch of guns that are now prohibited, and so there is a measure that needs to be taken next in order to resolve this issue in a fulsome way.
And listen, I hear what you're saying about compensation. I hear what you're saying about those that would be amenable to voluntarily giving back these guns again for compensation. But there will be those who do not. And I think that really is the criticism here about how workable is this? How do you enforce this law? And the fact that the public safety minister expressed doubt in the program, I think for conservatives, and certainly the ones we've spoken to, underlines the unworkability of this program. What do you say to that?
Well, I think if, you know, I always hear that, you know, and I know this to be true too, that Canadians have a different gun culture than the U.S. They respect the rules of our licensing and what is and isn't allowed in Canada. And so I go back to the fact that these guns are now prohibited firearms, and there needs to be a measure to take in order to help all of these people. And for those that wish to hold on to it, there'd be different measures that would be taken because these are prohibited illegal weapons at this point, right? So yes, they were bought legally, and that's why there is this amnesty period. That is why there's a compensation plan. There's also an option to be able to permanently disable these firearms as well. So some may choose to take that option down the road. But all in all, they have to be removed from our communities.
So I think it's only fair to the responsible gun owners, which most of them are, who have these guns locked up, to just hand them over because we said you can't have them anymore. They are no longer allowed, but they're rampant on the street, according to her, even though she just admitted that these people have had them locked up because they know that these guns are prohibited and not able to be used. So which one is it? Is it rampant on the street, or are these people responsible and they have them locked up like they should because they are licensed, law-abiding citizens? You can't have it both ways. These guys love to talk out of both sides of their mouth and make absolutely no sense. And good on Michael there for pushing back and saying, but yeah, listen, your minister has said that your program is not going to work. Doesn't that mean something? And these guys are just going to keep ramming it through. She goes, listen, we have it on the list. It's prohibited. You got to hand it over. Simple as that, because our streets need to be safe. None of it makes any sense. Hopefully, maybe one of you guys can make sense of it and let me know in the comment section below. I highly doubt it because, again, this whole thing is just nonsense. But let me know how you guys feel about all this in the comment section below. If you can, like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Thanks so much.